Motives. Welcome back to the Behind Your Motive podcast, the movement your future deserves. This is episode 26, and in this episode, I'll be interviewing Warner. He is from the United States, and we get into conversation about several topics, mostly around Kobe Bryant and how he has made a significant impact in our lives, the power of networking, and how you yourself right now can go out and reach out to your influencer that you look up to, whoever it may be. We give some insightful tips into that. Hope you guys enjoy the episode. Take care. Speak soon. Motives, how are you guys going today? This is the Behind Your Motive podcast, and I have the privilege to be able to interview Warner. He's built an amazing personal brand online. He's interviewing people around the world, and now I have the opportunity to switch the tables up and interview him. So how are you going today, Warner? What's been going on?
I'm blessed, man. I'm absolutely honored to have this privilege today. It's been an amazing journey, and I'm happy to see and be a part of yours.
Oh, perfect. I'm so happy that you're on the podcast. We got introduced with Brad. That was yes. Brad, wasn't it? He was on your podcast, on your Instagram page. And I had to reach out to you because I stumbled onto your page and I was like, holy crap, you got so much content, so much value. And I wanted to ask, what was the reason why you started the personal brand?
Man, that's a really good question. That's a really great question. So I started, I feel like as an entrepreneur, there's this saying, right? You are who you attract, or you attract what you become. Sorry, I totally butchered that one. You attract who you become. So one of the things that I started to realize is, where is the world going and what am I becoming? What's my identity? So one of the things I started to realize was social media, the impact, the power that social media has in our world today, in our business today. And what is my real estate space in social media, if you will, right? It's not actual real estate, but who am I on social media? And so what I began to see was the power of branding, the power of, whoa, I don't know who this guy is, right? Like McDonald's, you know McDonald's not because they have the best hamburger, you know McDonald's because they're everywhere, they're in every corner. Starbucks is not known for having the best coffee, but they're everywhere. They're in your face. And I feel that's what branding is. So what began my journey to the social media world was having an identity, owning space in what is social media, because I think that's important for branding. It's important that you influence through social media, right? You couldn't do this 10 years ago. You didn't have the ability to connect. I didn't have the ability to connect with you if it wasn't for social media, right?
Yeah. So
I started to see that power, and I started to say, well, if that extends my reach, then I have to create value on that platform so that I can allow that to impact other people as well.
That's beautiful, man. And without a shadow of a doubt, I don't stumble into a lot of pages and just instantly go, holy crap, this is a lot of value.
I appreciate that.
Especially your video content, the production quality is just all there, and I look up to that so much. And I had to get you on here to just pick your brain a bit for the audience as well. What got you excited about entrepreneurship exactly? I know you're an entrepreneur. What got you excited about all that inside that realm?
Yeah, it's this may resonate with a lot of people out there. That's funny you asked that, because I was thinking about it this morning. I'm like, man, what would I do if it wasn't for entrepreneurship, right? For me, entrepreneurship meant, it was more of an opportunity than it did mean money. And I'll explain what I mean. I'm not saying money is not important. It's very important. It's a great resource. But for me, it meant freedom. I was the type of guy who, very difficult for me to keep a job. I always share, I was like, I had a 6-figure income, and I was like, it was 6 different ways or 6 different jobs to figure out what real income was, because I kept just like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, I don't like this. What entrepreneurship, what attracted me the most was the ability to create something that would last, the ability to create a legacy, the ability to create something that my family and my kids and the kids can enjoy in the future, right? And so entrepreneurship allowed me that. Entrepreneurship was my ticket to the big time, if you will. Or here, there's baseball's big here in the States, so it's my ticket to the majors, right?
Yeah.
And so that's what it meant to me. It gave me the ability to, hey, you didn't grow up, in a rich family. You didn't grow up into money, but you have now the ability to create that for the future generations in your family. So for me, entrepreneurship more than anything meant opportunity of why, like, when I grew up, I don't want to say poverty, because it was, I didn't see it as poverty, but I didn't grow up with everything. So for me, it was just like, who was going to give me an opportunity? The major firms weren't calling me. Merrill Lynch, Edward Jones, they weren't calling me that, hey, you want to be a broker or a firm? No. But I found that through someone. And for me, it was opportunity meant just absolutely everything in the world.
That's awesome, man. And you're building that legacy for your family now. You're the one.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And hopefully your generations to come follow your footsteps and continue the legacy to go on.
That's the goal, right? It's just most of all, it's like, I grew up watching my favorite athlete of all time, rest in peace, was Kobe Bryant. Mm-hmm. And one thing, I followed him since he was a rookie. Hey, I saw that. Yeah, I love it. One of the things that, by the way, if this isn't just an audio clip, he has a Lakers background, just for those out there. But yeah, it was one of the things that Kobe always instilled was his work ethic, and the compounded work ethic from that 17-year-old kid all the way through. People forget he was an 11th pick or a 13th pick. And then in the NBA draft, he wasn't the best coming out. He wasn't even the best in his age group. I mean, he was incredibly talented, and he just found an opportunity, and he worked and worked and worked. Obviously, 17-year-old couldn't see what became a 20-year career, right? You could just envision these things. Mm-hmm. But that's what I felt entrepreneurship is. Entrepreneurship is, hey, I don't know. It's not that I don't know where this is going, because I have goals in place, but I don't know how that picture is going to look like in 20 years from now. So I have to put in the work now to create that legacy for that next me, right? That next version of myself.
And I'm so glad you introduced Kobe Bryant like that, because I am. That's like one link we have right now automatically, and this is the first time we've actually interacted on video. Is my hero is Kobe Bryant as well, and that was a very tough time when he passed, unfortunately. But I've always looked up to his work ethic. I've always looked up to his discipline, and just the way he is on and off the court is truly amazing. And I'm gonna share something with you. It's really personal. But yeah, back on Kobe Bryant. It's when he passed away, it was very emotional to me. The reason was because one of my dreams was I wanted to sit at a table where he and I are talking business and talking mindset. And I never got that opportunity. And not that I blamed it on me, but I was just like, how many more opportunities am I going to miss in my life if I don't hurry up, if I don't have any urgency in business? And that's what entrepreneurship, going back to that topic, right? That's what it meant for me. It just meant that opportunity of just, dude, you got to get after it now. And I remember that day, that evening, I actually wrote something, and it was, I'm going to butcher my own, like, I don't remember it word for word. It's in my journal. But what it was, it's 24 is more than a number. 24 is more than Kobe. 24 are the hours you have in a day. And the reason why I say that is because that's why he had 24, was because the next 24 hours are what's more important in your life. And that hit me so much. It hit me so much because the only thing we have today is what's next. We can't focus on what was the last 24 hours. We can't focus on the mistakes I did 2 weeks ago, 2 years ago, 20 years ago. It's the ability to change what I have today. And entrepreneurship gave me that. Entrepreneurship gave me that ability, hey, you can transform your identity. You can transform who you become. You can transform what's to be for that next generation. So that's what Kobe meant to me. And that's what that experience meant to me. And I just remember being in I was in a very emotional state when that occurred. He was my hero. And it was in my mind, I was like, dude, this dude's immortal. Nothing's ever gonna happen to him, right? But yeah, legacy's big, man. To this day, we're talking about him, right? Exactly right, and we'll continue to talk about him for the future. For sure. His legacy will never be erased. It's just one of those things where he was so great, he was so legendary, and it's not only because of his basketball talent. It's so much beyond that, right?
Right.
And it's so much beyond and that correlates so nicely to like Instagram and stuff. Like Instagram is just not everything. You're not going to be known for the Instagram. You have to be known for outside of Instagram, beyond Instagram, what you're doing outside the court and on the court, for instance.
It's a good point, because for me, Instagram is a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
It's just it expands my reach, but it's like you can't win in Instagram and lose in life. Like you gotta you gotta put in the work still. So yeah.
And yeah, exactly right. And that correlates so nicely with basketball. Like basketball can be a vehicle for change if you look at it in that way. So Kobe Bryant used basketball not only to showcase his skills, not only to win 5 championships, but he also did so much good for the world through that platform. And he used that forever, really.
Yeah.
And going on to Kobe Bryant, actually, and that goes on to my next question for you.
Yeah.
The mindset.
Yeah.
And we focus a lot on mindset on this podcast, and I want to really help people improve their mindset, find their voice. How do you think you found how do you think you learnt mindset from him? What type of characteristics have you instilled into yourself from him or other influential people?
Yeah. Man. So one of the things that when I played sports, one of the things Kobe always did was practice, and he would out practice everybody. And there was by any means, am I saying I'm really, at Kobe's level, but it was a hero. And the thing with success is that it leaves clues, right? Mm-hmm. So there's this idea of compounding interest when you talk about finances. Now, I'm not going to bore you with finances, but there's that compounding effect occurs with time and talent. And the more you do something, the more often you do, the better you get. And if you do that activity often enough, you essentially get to master that. Just as Kobe mastered the jump shot, the pump fake, the post, like he was just an art form on the basketball court. Well, mastery and mindset is a mastery. I always, my mentor gave me this example once, and it was like, if you're in a swimming pool and you try to put a basketball under the pool and you let it go, the ball is going to pop back up, right? Mm-hmm. Well, sometimes mindset is trying to balance 7 different basketballs in a pool. And you're like, the first time you're trying it, you're like, no, I suck, because they all keep popping up. But essentially you get to a level where, okay, I can monitor 7. I can maybe throw in 1 more basketball. And the basketballs would represent like negative thoughts, lacking self-belief, bad habits, a lack of discipline, so on and so forth. So it takes time for you to master that. But the one thing that doesn't happen is that just shows up overnight. It's something that incrementally grows. It's a practice that you got to do it every morning. There'll be mornings, I'm not going to lie to you, there'll be mornings. And it's actually where the phrase I use, stay in the big, came from. There'll be mornings where I'll just wake up and it's like there was like a self-defeating thought early in the morning. And so I had to give myself something where I just activate myself. So that's where I talked about stay in the big. And stay in the big for me meant, hey, remember the big goals and remember the big dreams. Remember that if you stay there and you remind yourself daily of why you're doing this, of the bigger picture, then everything else doesn't matter, whether you like it or not. It's a part of the process. And so part of my daily routine is, hey, take 10 minutes out of your day and go walk. Get yourself in a different state, away from work, away from your office, away from the family, the kids, and just get yourself in a space where you can isolate the mind, away from social media, where you can isolate the mind and just, okay, what are my affirmations? What are my affirmations? One of the new ones, like, I think that's a big part of your mindset, right? It's almost, you got to rewire, right? Yeah. Rewire this thing that is the mind. And so a big part of the process was understanding that and seeing these high level individuals like the Kobe Bryants, like the Grant Cardones, like the Tony Robbins, like what they leave clues. And one of the things that they always win is that they win in here. They win in the head. Right. So seeing those clues and seeing what they left and starting to practice that in my own life was absolutely a game changer in my life.
That's awesome, man. And you introduced positive affirmations, and that's such a huge deal in order to
Yeah.
really win your mindset, because a
Mm.
lot of people subconsciously speak negative about themselves and they might not even
Yeah.
know it. Like they say, "Oh, I wish I could do that," instead of saying, "Oh,
Right.
how do I do that?" You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Those little words, those little shifts in your language that you speak, just going deep down into language as a
Yeah.
whole, means so much to yourself and how you're portrayed in society, how you're portrayed wherever. But
Right.
like deeper than that, it's actually about yourself and feeling confident about yourself. And
Yeah.
um, and that's a hurdle that I'm building up on and
Yeah.
improving in my life as well, because like we all have bad habits. We all have habits where we wish we didn't do and we wish we did more productive stuff.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what I'm helping my audience with as well, because that's
Yeah.
what I'm breaking down. But
100%.
if you were to, where would you start? Like if you had someone that you knew had big visions, had big goals, like how would you break them down and like rewire their brain? How would
Yeah.
you instill new habits into them and break old ones? Like, yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a beautiful question. And I love that question because I wish I would have asked that question to myself when I was 18. Right. And so the beauty of that question is that it's a very it's a question that sparks discovery. And why do I say that? I think mentorship is vital in growth, whether it's a virtual mentor, whether it's books you read, whether it's a podcast, whether it's Yasha's Instagram. Like it's important to have mentors in your life. Like I mentioned previously, success leaves clues. One of the things I learned early, well, I was 27 and I was 27 years old when I met my mentor.
Wow.
And I thought that was old. Like I wish that would have happened before, but it didn't, right? Like I had to go through certain things in life for me to reach that point. So for that person who's like, looking to push more and become more and dream bigger, find someone who's living your dream life.
Mm-hmm.
Find someone who has your dream body. Find someone who has your dream income. Find someone who has a dream family. Find someone who has your dream car. Like they don't all have to be the same person. You can have several mentors in different places, right? It's like, if I wanted to play basketball, yeah, Kobe's my guy. I'm not going to go to my neighbor, right? Like it's like he can have a successful business, but he's never been in NBA Hall of Fame, right? So you can have different mentorships. And the reason mentorship and reading books and podcasts are so important is because you cut the learning curve. You don't have to go through 35 years of experience to get to the answer that they can tell you because they've lived it. And that's what I fell in love with. I fell in love with, the ability to, hey, you got to continue to learn. You got to continue to learn. And these mentors, they leave clues, use their work ethic, their schedules. My mentor, and till this day, right? It's like, yo, let me see your schedule. And it's just like, what does my schedule got to do with it? Well, because your schedule reflects your results. And so like, depending on, and this may or may not apply to everybody, but like, if you want to go to the gym, right? And fitness is your results, but you don't go to the gym. It's just like, so how do you expect to get results? Or if you do go to the gym every day, but you're eating fast food out and you're like, yo, I'm not getting results. Well, like there's all these different things that correlate, but you don't find that out until you read about it, right? You don't find that out until somebody tells you about it. So it's funny because like I grew up in, everybody, I went to school, I went through high school, I went through college, and I had a teacher. And when I played, collegiate sports, I had a coach. And then I, you finish school, life hits you in the face and you're like, oh shoot, there's no teacher in life. There's no coach in my life. Well, it's important for us to go out there and seek that and find that, because they help guide you and navigate you through those storms are going to occur in your life, but they help you navigate through those things. And for me, that was very important, is to find people in my life that are aligned to where I want to be. Find someone who has the income I want to have one day. Find someone who has the family values and the family that I want to have one day. The faith, whatever that faith may be, the fitness results, and, find those things so that you can, like I said before, success leaves clues, right? And you just,
Definitely.
being a copycat is okay so long as you copy the right cat.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm so glad you mentioned mentorship. I'm so glad you mentioned coaches, because they have really transformed my life as well in the past, maybe 1 or 2 months alone, because I'm usually typically a pretty confident guy. I have goals and visions, but it's not until I actually introduce the coach into my own life, and I kind of bit the bullet where like I put the pride aside of saying I can do everything myself. I don't need anyone's help. Like a lot of people subconsciously say that as well. Like they don't want to seek out results because they think they know everything. But in retrospect, you really don't. And there's always someone out there that knows more about life, knows more about business, knows more about the gym, whatever it is. And it's so important. So thank you for bringing that up. That actually instills another question that I want to ask you about how to actually reach out to these people. How do you show yourself as valuable to them, not only for them to help you, but how can you help them? What would you say to that?
I'm gonna go back to how you ended, and then I'll tie it in. I was listening to Joe Rogan, and I'm a huge fan of Joe Rogan because I love what he's created. And what people miss with Joe Rogan, it's like, dude, that's 30 years of work. Yeah. Like, it's not like, oh, he just popped up on the map and he's successful. No, like there's been work. Like people weren't there when Joe Rogan was on Tom Green show before the internet was even a thing, right? This is like back in dial-up. He said in one of his podcasts, he said, one of the most important things that I realized as a podcast host was that I don't know it all. Mm-hmm. And that's so important because it just it just takes away your ego. And for me, ego is an acronym for edging greatness out. Like the more ego you have, the more greatness you edge out of your life. Yeah. And so unpacking who you are and realizing that, okay, confidence doesn't have to mean arrogance. And confidence doesn't have to mean I know it all. And so that for me, it was a massive journey for me. And oftentimes that basketball tries to come back up, right? And so I had to learn to edge those things out, and in order to move forward. And it was a part of that mindset, right? And so what does that got to do with your question? Well, in business, one of the things that's massive as an entrepreneur is your ability to network. There's a saying, your network is your net worth, right? Mm-hmm. So you consistently have to level up your network if you want your net worth to essentially go up with it. It's not always an instant thing, it sometimes takes, some time for that network to grow. So the most important question for me, or the most important words in the English language was, how can I help you? How can I help you? How can I help you? And that was so hard when I had an ego, because it's just like, no, what can you do for me? Mm-hmm. But no, I had to learn that, no, what can I do for you? How can I bring value to your platform? How can I bring value to your audience? How can I bring value to your life, to your business, to your fitness, to whatever it is? How can I be of help to you? And so that was like the beginning process of me, suppressing that ego and continue to grow in what was branding and what was social media and what was most importantly, what was business and what was identity. I feel like the more it's the law of attraction, right? The more you do for others, it reciprocates. And like I said, it's not always an immediate thing, but I genuinely believe that the more value you put out into the world, it's like you're depositing into the universe savings account. Yeah. And essentially the universe is like, yo, you're ready to cash out, right? Mm-hmm. And so that to me was very important. It was understanding the power behind the question of how can I help you?
That's awesome. And and I'm sure you experienced this in your Instagram as well. And like so many people just reach out to you, always asking about how can we help them. Right. And I barely ever received texts or DMs about them providing value to us, and then showing them that they're valuable, showing us that they're valuable, and then we can go and help them, right? Right. One of the only conversations like I've had, and out of nowhere, he's actually still a friend of mine, and he's really close. Yeah. So have a look at how life works, right? When you provide value, he messaged me. He wanted to write a book. I've had him on the podcast a lot.
Nice.
And one thing led to another. We actually became really close friends, and we got to the point where he was willing to write the book for free. Like,
Nice.
not that that's should be the end goal. Never go
Right.
into a relationship, never network to get things for free or anything like that.
Right.
But it was just a testament to how close we became, just from literally understanding that we respected each other. We wanted the
Right.
best for each other. So that led on to such a solid relationship. But like, if you were to just give one bit more of advice, because I feel like a lot of people need this, and I feel like a lot of people can seek value out of actually reaching out to a mentor, because it can impact their life so much. What else
100%.
can they do? What else can that person do to reach out to someone? How can I help?
Yeah, right.
But what else?
I'll give you this analogy. Just envision yourself in South Africa, and you're enjoying the Sahara, right? You're enjoying, or what is it? What do they call
the Sahara Desert?
The something Getty, the Gerrans Getty. Anyways, I'm completely butchering that. But you're enjoying the outdoors, right? You're in South Africa, and there's a lion, magnificent lion, and there's a beautiful elephant, and it's nature. And you see an injured hyena, and your heart says, I'm gonna go help that injured hyena. You approach the hyena. What is the hyena gonna do to you?
Bite you.
It's gonna tear your leg off, right? It's gonna completely destroy it. And now, in your heart, your intent was great. Your intent was to go help somebody, right? And so what I realized, why am I going with this? What I realized is that sometimes when you're hurt, odds are the people who are around you are hurt as well, whether it's hurt emotionally, whether it's hurt mentally, whether it's hurt financially, whatever it may be. If you're in that position, odds are your surroundings are as well. So if you go to reach out to somebody that is in that same predicament, there's a saying, hurt people hurt people. You're going to go out and reach out to them, and like the hyena, they're going to bite back because their instinct is, it's about me. I got to protect me. I make a horrible hyena, by the way. So where am I going with this? What I've realized with people that have already succeeded, or people that are in the process, or people that are in a different level than you, they've gone to that level because someone else helped them. This idea of I'm a self-made millionaire, or I'm a self-made entrepreneur, I have a very, very hard time believing that, because the more I've been in business, the more I realize it's about collaboration over competition. So it's important that you go and put your ego aside, right? Going back on that last subject, put your ego aside and send somebody a message, send somebody a DM. Hey, how can I work with this? Hey, what are books that I can read? Hey, how can I reach out to you? How can I be in business with you? I think the biggest part of the biggest journey, because I'm not here to say it's going to be rainbows and roses. It's really not. There's a process to entrepreneurship and business. There's a process to getting better. Just like the gym, you're going to go through areas where you're sore, right? That's why everybody says, #leg day, because it hurts. Like squatting hurts. That's personal development. It's going to hurt. It's going to be a process. But it's important that you do it with someone who's already been there and can guide you through that. If you're reaching out to people who are hurt, the only thing they're going to do is bite back, because everything's offensive. Everything's at me, as opposed to, no, yeah, I'm willing to help you. Let me elevate you. Because in many times, and like, this is the way I see it. When I'm mentoring someone, I'm coming from from a heart and a place where I know what you've been through, as opposed to, hey, I'm going to do this with you. Like, let me get mine. Let me eat. No, I have enough to eat. Let me help you. Let me help you.
Right. Okay. That's a very interesting point. So in saying that, I just want to clarify, you wouldn't reach out to people that are currently hurt. What do you mean by hurt? So
great. Yeah, sorry about that. So if I'm seeking a mentor, if I'm in a position where I'm like, man, I want something else for my life. I can do more. I want to do something different. Find who those people are in your life. Like, identify, if I want to be a basketball player and I can message LeBron James, I'm going to go on YouTube to do LeBron James. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to go play college basketball. I'm going to go do every single thing that has to be in order for me to be that person, right? Now, not everyone is LeBron James, right? Like, I'm not 6'9", 6'10" with, a Greek god body.
Apparently.
But there's other areas in life I can win. In those areas, whatever area it is that you would like to dive into, I would suggest reach out to that individual. If it's someone that you see that you admire their page, or you admire their business, or you admire their family, sometimes it's a fear that, I don't want to reach out to them. I don't want to bother them. It's never a bother. Most successful individuals enjoy the ability to help. It's always, I want to impact over impress.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say, just reach out.
That's really important. And I think people have a negative impression of people where, like, they don't respond to my DMs. Why? They're so stuck up, or I'm not too sure. Like, that's probably what I thought as well at the beginning stages of my whole journey with this, where I was reaching out to people, they weren't replying. Why the hell aren't they replying? But maybe you have to change up your approach. Maybe you have to keep messaging them and be like that. I'll wrap things up with you today. Thank you so much for coming onto the podcast. How can people find you? What are your social medias? How can people find you and reach out to you?
So you mentioned earlier, like, my podcast, it's an IGTV series, which is on my personal Instagram, which is at Warner Trejo. That's my first and last name, at Warner Trejo. I have a link tree on my Instagram account that'll have my business. It has my email. It has all the information, personal information. If you want to reach out to me, I always answer my DMs. If I don't answer immediately, it's not because I don't like you. It's just I haven't got to it. That's all it is. Yeah. And I wanted to say one last thing. Like yourself, you said you're in this journey, right? And sometimes you get people that message you. I will say this: no isn't fatal. No isn't fatal. It's not going to kill you. What no means to me is that it just means not right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's always important, because sometimes, have you ever been in the middle of something? They're like, hey, are you hungry? No. It doesn't mean, no, I never want to eat ever again. It just means, no, dude, I'm in the middle of something. And I feel in life, it's the same way. When I don't want to go back into.
No, that's great. Thank you for clarifying that. I think no means, sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah.
No means to me new opportunity.
Yes.
As well. Not right now. That's a great point as well. Great analogy. Yeah. It also means new opportunity. So thank you for clarifying that.
No, I say that because, like, I have 2 little nephews, and every time I say no to them, hey, Uncle Warner, can I get some candy? No. Can I get some candy? Like, it's just like, did you not hear the no? And it's just like, what we lost that somewhere. Somewhere in our life, we lost that. Kids, I used to be a server at a restaurant, and I realized how many times I offered water, and the client would say, no, I don't want any water. I didn't go to the back of the restaurant. I was like, they didn't want water? Oh my God, that's so what? Is it me? They don't like me? No, I just said no to water. Like we have to see that in life as well. It's just like, it's not a no to you. It's just like, it's not right now, right? That's awesome. But anyways, we'll leave that for another conversation.
Thank you so much. We'll have to definitely touch on that. And thank you for lending me your time today. It's been a pleasure to interview you, for sure.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
And I'll say one last thing. It's an affirmation that I like to share with everybody, and hopefully it can benefit either you or your audience. And that is, hey guys, whoever's listening to this, you are blessed. You are highly favored. Your family deserves the best version of you. Your business deserves the best version of you. But most of all, this entire world deserves the best version.
That's beautiful. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your positivity. You have a great day, Warner.
Hey, likewise. Take care, brother.
Thank you, man.
Motives, that was some truly inspirational stuff with the positive affirmations at the end to top it off. Make sure to follow him down below and on Instagram. His content is amazing and truly inspirational stuff. He interviews many mentors and coaches from around the world. Guys, please apply what we mentioned in the podcast as well. If you really want to find a mentor for yourself, if you really want to get to the next level, finding a coach to get you there along the way, holding your hand, is truly remarkable stuff. So use the content that we provided for your benefit. Guys, take care of yourselves. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye bye.